Hi guys, welcome back to In Her Prime. I'm Elise.
And I'm Dom. Today, you're in for something super special. Joining us tonight is Rachel Barbaro. She's an executive leadership coach, a facilitator, and speaking based right here in Toronto. Rachel brings over 2 decades of leadership experience from advising premier and cabinet ministers to stepping into coaching when burnout pushed her to redefine success on her own terms. She's the founder of an empowerment club and a fierce believer in the potential inside every human to transform, not just professionally, but personally, authentically, and sustainably. Whether you're shaping strategy in the boardroom or craving clarity at the brunch table, Rachel is here to empower you to lead with ease, confidence, and impact. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so good on this beautiful Friday evening.
Yeah,
I'm
how's your
so
week
excited to be
been?
here. My week's been really good.
Busy.
I've been waiting to have
Yeah.
you on. I am so excited to sit down and talk with you today.
Oh my
I know
God.
Elise messaged me when I was in, I think it was LA, and she's like, oh, we have Rachel booked for Friday the 29th. And I was like, cool, great, I'm excited.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm excited too. I love conversations like this because like we never know where we're going to go. It's just sort of organic, like what's going to come and where we're
But
going
you
to go.
also have your own podcast as well, right? And what are your main themes on there? Like, what do you talk about?
I love to talk about women in leadership and not just in like traditional corporate corner office roles, but like women really leading in their lives, like creating, building as opposed to reacting. Because I think so many times women are just conditioned to just react to what's happening to them and take care of everything else, whether or not they're moms. Just respond to everybody. And the opposite of that to me is really creating with intentionality and direction what you want for your life and then like going after it.
I love that.
Exciting. We start off every episode with Peak and Pit. So
Okay.
something that's been going really well in the past 2 weeks and something that has just sucked, to be very transparent.
Okay.
We start with
Rachel, you
Rachel.
go
Do
first.
you want to start?
Oh my God. Okay. So something that has been going really well in the last 2 weeks is my business is rocking and rolling. Like I'm really busy. I'm booking stuff into January, booking travel, both like with Empowerment Club, my group program, and also like corporate teams that I work with. So like that's just phenomenal because it means what I'm doing and the impact I'm having is like working. And I love being of service and supporting people and supporting teams. The pit is that summer's ending.
Yeah.
And
It's
I'm
crazy.
like, oh my God.
Like I'm wearing a sweater now in August. Like it's
I
officially fall.
know.
Like we've come to terms with that.
I
Oh my
can't
God.
believe that summer is almost done. I feel like I have
It's
spent
like March.
no
like it was
time
literally March
outside.
the last time.
I haven't done
Yeah.
anything.
I know.
I've been inside all day.
You got to get out.
I went outside today and I'm like, why is it kind of chilly?
Yeah.
I think I
I
said
know.
that to you yesterday.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you're
why is it cold outside?
I went for a walk yesterday by the water with my dog and I wore a sweater, like a windbreaker. Because it
It's
was cold. I'm
wild.
like, it's done. But today was hot. Today was like a UV of 8. It was like
Totally.
30 degrees. It
I
was
know.
nice.
I'm taking my kids to Sandbanks next week. I'm like, we're going the F to the beach. We got to like
Yeah.
just soak up this last week.
And then
of
they're
summer.
back to school
Yes.
right after Labor Day. And then like
Totally.
routine and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Do they
yeah.
stay occupied during the summer? Like camp? Like how do you keep them busy? Because I can't imagine like
1000%.
having.
Because they would destroy my house and my business. I have
Yeah.
2 boys. They would destroy my business and my house. So yeah, they're in camp. They do nature camp. They do art camp. They do like puppet camp. They do soccer camp. They do like all the
Like
things.
We're
anything-
shipping them off.
Yeah.
I ship them
camp,
out.
Anything.
Any camp. Just take them. I'll pick them up at 4. Go. Yeah. It's
Okay,
good. It's good for them.
Your Peak and Pit.
They are related. My peak is I flew to Newfoundland with my boyfriend and my sister's baby and her husband and my parents, and we all went to visit my grandparents because they have a summer house there, and both of my parents are from there, so it's just like a nice place to go back to that we go back to every year. But my pit is there have been wildfires, so it's on like an island where there's never been fires before, so no one knows what to do. And they live in like this
ChatGPT.
really remote town.
What do we do for fires?
Literally, they live in this like really remote town, but the problem is there was 3 fires that kind of spread around the island, and one of the fires was like 10 kilometers away, so we ended up getting evacuated.
Oh, no.
And we had to leave the house at like 10 p.m. and we didn't know where we were going, and my sister has this 5-month-old baby, and it was chaos.
You're like, I just want to lay down.
And I'm ready to go. But then because of the flight cancellations, my flight leaving, I went from like Newfoundland to Halifax to Toronto. My flight from Newfoundland to Halifax was delayed, but they were like, no worries, the flight in Halifax is going to wait for you because of like everything that's going on. Nothing to worry about. Lies. I get to Halifax.
But why would the plane wait? Like I've never heard of delays
They
waiting.
they said because
like, was there a
of
lot
like
of people coming from New? Oh, okay.
because there was a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the flight ended up leaving, And because of like the Air Canada strike, oh my gosh, I was like literally stuck in Halifax for like 2 days, which was like lucky for me because the rest of the people on the flight, like the people behind us, were flying out like next week.
Oh my
It's
God.
insane. So
So like peak and
I'm
pay
happy
all
to be
together.
back.
Yeah.
I needed like a day to like recoup, but I'm back to it.
Yeah.
What's yours?
I would say peak. I took on a social media, like a freelance client to do all of their in-house social media. So their Instagram, TikTok, and
LinkedIn.
which I'm really excited about because I know the owners of the construction company personally because I went to high school with them, and it's just it's like really inspiring because I see Elise do it, and obviously there's like highs and lows, but to just do something that's like completely different from my corporate. I'm excited, like to just be creative in another way. Like what I do for the tech company that I work for, it's very, you just have to follow a certain structure, and then to do freelance for a construction company, which is something I never thought I would be doing. Like I just have full creative freedom. Like I send them ideas and like whatever you think. They're like we'll try everything. We'll A/B test everything. I'm like, oh, I think we should do this. They're like, okay, cool. Let's get a videographer. So I'm excited. And then my pit, I have someone that I worked with in the past that, okay, this might sound so stupid, but it really bothers me. Always spells my name wrong. And like emails will like pronounce my name wrong when we're like in meetings. And I've never had the balls to like correct. But there was like this massive email chain that got sent out and my name was spelled so wrong. I was like,
Is this
like,
even for me?
I'm like, is this, like, am I in the room? But anyways, I like brought it up to my dad and he was like, I think you should say something.
Totally.
But I just like haven't. And it's been like 6 months.
Sometimes
Is
I
it
feel
one
like it's so
person?
far gone.
It's one person.
It's
Yeah,
so far
it's
gone.
one person. And like my name is written on like my Google, like, you know, like there's
when you type in the email below,
yes,
you can see the name.
email. And then like the name is spelled so wrong.
Is it different every time though?
Different every time?
You need to correct that.
I've gotten Dominican. I've gotten like any, and I'm like, okay, it's really like, it's not like you're just like writing it like pen and paper and like you spell it wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Oh.
So I've like never, and I don't know
that's
today.
so awkward to say
and
though.
then, but that I'm like, it's been so long of it being thing. Yeah. So I haven't said anything. That's kind of my pit.
You need to send an email.
Yeah.
And be like, this is how you
Like
spell
to
my
HR,
name.
even though HR is like one person. Yeah, but that's been that. So I've been thinking of saying something, but I just haven't.
Oh no, you have to.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
the worst. Sometimes I get Denise.
Denise.
Denise?
Yeah, that's what I get.
I
I get like
Barbara
Eloise. Yeah.
because of
Spell calls-
Barbaro.
Yeah.
Wait, what? People call you what?
They confuse my last name and my first name, so I'm Rachel Barbaro. People call me
Barba
Barbara.
or Barbara?
And I'm like, no, it's the last name with an O. Yeah.
It's like that little attention to detail, but it's like so important. Like I get so embarrassed if I have spelled someone's name wrong on an
too.
email because
I'll follow up immediately. I am so sorry. Like
Autocorrect.
Yeah, autocorrect like didn't work or I didn't double check.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, enough about us. I want to dive into you. Obviously, you gave a little spiel at the beginning of what you do when you're empowerment, but what led you to where you are now? Obviously, you've done a complete shift
Total
career-wise. Like,
Total
where were
shift.
you before and where are you now? And, like, when was that, like, black and white moment?
So I had a very successful career, 19 years in like the public sector, working out west for BC Hydro, working in government here in Toronto, and the last 10 years leading teams, like leading pretty substantial teams, reporting into a deputy minister, like leading big marketing, communications, creative, digital teams, doing like crisis comms and speeches and advertising and all that stuff. And there came a moment for me a couple of years ago where I was like, this isn't it. Like I was just like, this isn't
Not
it.
fulfilled?
Yeah, I wasn't fulfilled. And I felt like I was sort of on this conveyor belt and I was like moving along on this conveyor belt, but I wasn't really present. I wasn't really using all my gifts. I just had this feeling in like my gut, in my body. I was like, there's something more. Like there's something more for me to do. And then the year prior to that, my kids are really young. So I have two boys, they're 7 and 10. And the year prior to that, I got coached. I worked with a leadership coach. This is like years and years ago. My kids were really tiny because I was burnt out and I worked with a coach. And throughout that journey, I learned so many skills on how to regulate my nervous system, how to lead, how so much that was like guiding me in my life, making decisions about what kind of house I bought or, you know, my relationship or how I was showing up at work or what success looked like or what worth looked like. they weren't actually mine. It was just stuff that I had like absorbed from like people around me, and it didn't really
Like
align.
they weren't your own thoughts.
No, it wasn't my own beliefs. Like I peeled off a lot. Like I peeled off a lot of conditioning, and I realized like what I really wanted to do was wildly bigger, wildly more impactful, much more creative. And so slowly, I mean, I totally changed my life. I went just back to school in my late 30s. I got my coaching accreditation. I'm a leadership coach. I got somatically trained, flew to California so many times for in-person training. And I basically like, you know, sometimes I think you have to destroy something to create something. And I basically sort of like, I still use a lot of the skills I use in my traditional leadership career, but I destroyed one career and walked away from it and built something, you know, from the ashes of that was so much more deeply fulfilling in terms of the impact I want to be having.
If it wasn't for that coach, like you
Yeah.
taking that, do you think you would have
Totally
be where
no.
you are now?
No. And I still remember like booking the
Do you guys
first
still
session with
talk?
her. Oh yeah,
Yeah?
she's still in my life.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. We're still connected.
When you first worked with her, you said that like your relationship changed and your outlook on life or yourself changed. Like, how did working with somebody like that change not only like just your work-life balance, but like the deeply personal relationships in your life?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I like nice things. I like travel. I'm lucky enough to have a house in Toronto. But I really believe that, like, when I'm on my deathbed, may I be old with, like, long white hair someday, the thing that I'm going to think about is my relationships. The richness of my life will be how I related to myself, how I related to my husband, my family, my children, my friends, my clients, my work. Like, it's in the relating that I find the most joy. And I think most women and most humans can also identify with that. And if I hadn't undertaken that coaching, if I hadn't taken that leap and that gulp and that investment in myself, I don't think I would have really like discovered that. I think I would have sort of stayed in this very safe, very successful career. But I wouldn't have been able to take the leap or the jump. And I also think when you're in a state of burnout or dysregulation, particularly as a woman, you know, it's so much more comfortable to stay in that state of burnout or to stay in that state
just
of
being comfortable.
dysregulation. 100%. It's so, because to change is actually quite painful because you have to reflect and like almost mirror back and look at your life and be like, oh, I'm not actually happy.
Well, I think it's uncomfortable because you have preoccupied yourself like so much with whatever you're
much.
working on or whatever you're doing. So when you take that time off or you decide to like make that uncomfortable decision to, you know, quit your job or let clients go or whatever it is,
Totally.
you realize that, you know, hey, maybe I don't have hobbies, or maybe I don't have as many deep friendships as I thought I did.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you know, my relationship isn't going necessarily in the way that I wanted it to. Like, there's so many things that I think we just like mindlessly coast through life with, like just not noticing.
Totally.
Well, there's that quote that's been circulating, and I see it all over TikTok, but it's if nothing changes, nothing changes. And it's like if you
Yes.
actually don't do anything, like you're going to stay exactly where you are.
100%.
I know what burnout looks for me, but you being in that position, what were the signs that you were like, I am not happy?
Oh my
like, was it
gosh.
motivation? Were you like
No,
depressed?
I was like
what?
over motivated. I was like
Okay.
over pleasing, over motivating. That's my pattern. When I like can't sit still and can't stop, that's
like
how
me.
I know
So
I'm
what,
in a
you were
state of
just
burnout.
over-
You get it. You know.
It's like me.
Overdoing.
Overdoing, just like overgiving, like just
Because I think it's tricky, because for me personally, I sort of thrive in like a work environment where you just love your work. And I think you can sort of get caught up in that in a way where you really just like enjoy what you're doing. And what you're doing is almost your hobby, but it's actually work.
Yeah.
So it sort of gets blurred lines a little bit, because then, you know, for me, for example, I ended up removing a lot of my clients back in May to take some time for myself. And it almost did the opposite effect, where because I removed like dead weight, let's say, a lot of new opportunities ended up being presented to me that are actually like 10 times better. And now I
Yes.
can't say no to these things because
Yeah.
this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And it ends up just like stacking on top of each other. And you almost have to be hyper motivated, because if you're not, then you will like sink under all of these tasks that you have.
Totally. You're evolving, right? You're just evolving. Like you're going into your next level and your next level, and you're never done. And I also find like, you know, I work with so many female entrepreneurs. I've coached over the last couple of years. I've coached over 500 women in group programs, in retreats, in one-on-one. And I find like my own journey and with my clients, like it's often really dark before the dawn. It's often like when you're going through like another level of who you are and who you want to become and your impact. You have to like let go of things, whether it's friendships, whether it's relationships, whether it's habits or patterns, mindsets, clients. You have to let go of things. And I think, you know, like the coaching industry in North America is projected to be worth $25 billion. Like, I think that's why so many people are seeking out coaching right now. And I mean, it transformed my life 7 years ago. It's why I became a coach and built my business, because coaching helps people move and it gives people objectivity in terms of their life. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think every modality is helpful. And I think there's consulting, there's therapy, and then there's coaching that really borrows from both of those two modalities. And I think coaching helps people move, and it just gives them this objectivity. And like, your coach will tell you, a good coach will tell you where your blind spots are and where you're repeating patterns. And in essence, coaching is just bringing awareness to what you want and how you're actually holding yourself back from getting it.
So for someone who doesn't necessarily know exactly what coaching is,
Yeah.
if you are not, building a business or you're not a founder, would you still look for a coach just like in your daily life? Like almost like like you said, like a mix of like a therapist and mix of a consultant, like somebody to just guide you in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, I would say you go to a coach when you want something to change, like that beautiful quote that you just said, Dawn.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Totally, when you want something to change. And so most people I've witnessed, and I have the privilege now, I will mentor and help supervise coaches too as well, like coming up in the ranks and building their businesses. You really want to seek out a coach when you're ready for something to change, when you want to receive, when you want to shift, when you want to achieve something, or you're just going through a life transition. Like maybe it's like moving to a new city, maybe it's like getting over a breakup, maybe it's starting a new career or wanting to like start to breathe life into a new career shift. There has to be an element of shifting, of change, I think, to work with a coach.
So obviously being like, I'm assuming, like you said, it's a huge billion-dollar industry, and it can be, obviously, I'm assuming, a little oversaturated.
Yeah.
You as a coach, and obviously the person that coached you, what makes you, and maybe it's a little biased, but what makes you different from other coaches? Like, what's your approach? Was it your corporate background, being like in a very burnout state, and then wanting to transition? Like, what do you think you offer everyone that's different from other people?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think what makes me different from other coaches is the breadth and the depth of my experience. So like, I personally have gone through like extreme states of burnout. Because I coach so many women, my approach is both like traditional, like executive coaching, like mindset coaching, but I also believe that the female body holds so much infinite wisdom and creativity. Like, I believe the body keeps the score. So I'm also somatically trained. So dropping somebody into their body, seeing where a sensation of burnout or people pleasing or worry or fear, where it comes from. And I've never worked with a client that could not be coached somatically. Like, I have coached partners of law firms, C-suite leaders, entrepreneurs, stay-at-home mom. Like, anybody can access their body in a different way. So I think it's the breadth of my experience. I'm trauma informed. I do the mindset work. And just like generally, like if you were to ask one of my best friends, like, I think I bring the fire and I bring the accountability. Like, if you want to go get something, I will help you go fucking get it. We will go get it, and we will figure out what's holding you back from it, whether it's income, whether it's the job, whether it's the relationship. And if you have unintegrated pain or trauma, like I can bring that watery energy, and like I can help you integrate it. I can help you work with it and integrate it into who you are. I'm a firm believer that if there's experiences we've had or memories or moments or, capital T trauma or lower T trauma, we don't get away from them. We just integrate them in new ways. Like, it's not the thing, whether it's like something terrible that happened to you or even just like a workplace interaction that was really painful. It's not the thing that actually causes us pain. It's the window with which we hold it. It's what we hold in the story we tell ourselves around it.
Like, for how long you hold it for? Or the narrative?
It's the narrative,
okay.
Exactly. You nailed it. Yeah. So I think that's what makes my approach really different, that I have so many different tools in my like coaching like tool belt that I can pull from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious now with like, how many people do you take on? Like, how many is it more that you're coaching like teams, individual women?
Are you on like a retainer basis with like a certain amount?
Work then with your
Is it one-on-one calls? Like, people just book a one-off?
Yeah, I typically don't work with people one-on-one. I think you need like a one-off call. I mean,
so
I
like,
do
for
work
example,
with people
when you
one-on-one.
mentioned stay-at-home mom, would that be like as a group setting, like you're coaching a family, or is it just one-on-one with one person?
Yeah. So, really good question. I typically will do a one-on-one package with somebody where they'll work with me for like 8 sessions or 12 sessions, usually over 8 months or 12 months, because I think you need, if you're going to work with me, I want to invest, all my skills in you. And I also need you to invest and trust me. And in my experience, having coached so many people, I think you really need a chunk of time, like a minimum of 6 to 8 months to really see progress. So I typically work with people in my group program. I run a group program called the Empowerment Club twice a year. And it's really helping women who want to lead or who want to be entrepreneurs regulate their nervous system and really begin to lead in their lives, like in all aspects of their lives. I have another round starting in October, and then there's a couple of companies that have me on retainer, so I coach like their C-suite, their VPs. I do leadership 360, like 360 assessments on them, and then I'll also do like select one-on-one work when somebody will come to me and want to work together. So I love it. Like it keeps me growing, it keeps me expanding, it keeps me on my toes, and that's what makes like my business so interesting, is because I can turn the dial. That's also why I love entrepreneurship. Like I was an employee for 19 years. Like I was a really good employee.
Now you're boss babe.
Now I'm boss babe, right? Like, and
No, but that's like a huge
it's
shift.
huge to learn to run a business, and I'm like in
Yeah.
awe of the two of you, how you guys have evolved, and you're doing it like. It's amazing. And I think when you're becoming an entrepreneur and you're learning how to run a business, you have to be able to take, like, it's almost like you're a DJ. You have to be able to take the dial and turn it up and down in your business. Like, what areas do I want to ramp up? What do I want to ramp down? And then how do I go out and market and begin to build that relationship with my client? It's really interesting. I also heard a phrase this week that I think is just so fascinating, and I just want to weave it in and get your take on it. We're in a trust recession. I heard somebody say that whether it's like online creation or with the relationship with their employer or seeking out a coach, we're in a trust recession. It's taking us as humans so much longer to trust a company, a brand, another person, a workplace.
I think with our generation, there's actually like a lot of things that I think about a lot about like trust and work and burnout and all these things. I think in a way they're all related. Like for trust, I think social media is such at like the forefront of everyone's brain. So you're like watching everyone's highlight reel, and I'll use like a relationship as an example. Like you're watching everybody post the highlights of their relationship, and then you look inward at your relationship, which might be perfect for you and might be checking all of your boxes, but because you've been watching everyone's highlight reel and it might not look like that because that's not reality.
Totally.
You might begin to question your own relationships. Or for burnout, like I think we are sort of in a generation where it almost went the opposite spectrum. Like I feel like maybe when my parents were younger, it was you work 24/7, no breaks. Like that's kind of what it was. And then we almost shifted to the complete opposite spectrum where I feel like a lot of people now don't want to work, and, mental health is a big thing. And it almost went, the opposite end, and we're sort of trying to find that middle ground. So I think all of these things like tack on top of each other because you end up just losing maybe trust in yourself or in society.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard to like find your footing, especially as like a young woman in your 20s and,
Yes.
with your relationships or your friendships or your career, it's tough.
Totally. And like, what is real? Like, what's real?
Oh my
like,
God, I
is
have
somebody
those moments all the time. Like, what the fuck is real?
totally.
Yeah. I think that when it comes to trust, like there's just so much accessibility now. Like there's too many options. Like even as like if you view it from like the perspective of like content creation, you have so many opinions and so many voices. Like who am I trusting? Why should I like or why should I follow you or why should I believe you're like are you authentic enough to
Totally.
be voicing something? But on a company standpoint, like why do you think companies are like not trusting employees? I hadn't thought of it like that.
Oh, I was thinking employees not trusting
Okay.
companies. I was flipping it
Okay,
the
you
other
were
way.
flipping-
Yeah.
okay.
Definitely.
Employees not.
I think we also live in like a very selfish generation in a
I would
way.
agree.
I think realistically, like being on social media makes you selfish in a way. And,
Like
they have that
self-conceited?
self-conceited or like selfish content if you're just posting about, you
Yourself.
24/7. And I think that can really like shift your mindset and you become really maybe without even realizing it, self-absorbed. And I think that translates into like, you know, how companies view you
Totally.
or how your work views you or how you view yourself. And it just shifts into every sector of your life.
100%.
Something I really wanted to touch on that you mentioned, obviously with what you do with your empowerment
Empowerment club. Yeah.
What do you think is what do you see as the biggest struggle that women have when it comes to leading in their life? Like, where is there like one specific, obviously there's not one specific thing, but is it work, leading in their relationship, leading with their kid? Like, where do you see like the most common or what is the most common denominator that
Oh
you
my
think
God.
I think maybe it might be a very vague question,
Yeah.
but what do you what do you think people or women struggle with the most?
I would guess
Go
what's
for
your
it.
that
guess?
young women in their like maybe early to mid 20s,
Yeah.
it would be relationships.
Like struggle to lead in the relationship?
Not necessarily struggle to lead, but struggle to maybe figure out like what a relationship is and then
Yeah,
finding
a healthy relationship.
a healthy
what
relationship.
a healthy functional relationship is. I think, oh my God, so many things. I'm just going to riff and just like cut me off. I think what a healthy relationship is, what healthy functional relating looks like, because many of us grew up in households that were highly dysfunctional, right? So like what healthy functional relating looks like between two people. I think so many women have two unconscious like tabs running, like browsers running, and that's martyrdom, like putting other people before themselves, whether it's kids, whether it's like their pet, whether it's their work, whether it's their partner, and also people pleasing. Like I think a lot of us run on outdated programming in terms of like people pleasing, and your worth being tied to your bank account, or your worth being tied to like a ring, or your worth being tied to your partner, or how many followers you have on Instagram. Whereas I'm a huge believer that like my biggest work I had to do on myself was when I left my really successful corporate leadership role and was like making nothing. I mean, now my income has gone, my business way past what I was making in leadership. But when I was making like next to nothing starting my business, my worth wasn't tied to my business. My worth was me knowing that I'm lovable, that I'm
But
extraordinary.
how did you not do that? Because like I think
It was freaking hard.
But I'm saying, like, if you are making six figures in your corporate and then
you're
you leave
making
to making
$600 a month.
$600 a month,
Yeah.
obviously starting up, like, how did you
Yeah.
not do that? Because I think it's so much easier to like vocalize that and say, like, oh no, I know what I'm worth. But when it's like month after month, like, how did you not let the lines blur?
Well,
'Cause I think that's-
gratefully the money started coming in because
Like,
I think
finally-
I'm good at what I
finally got a
do.
check.
But I mean, forgive me for saying this, but like I had a coach, I had somebody supporting me the
Yeah.
whole time who was like, "There's your eye on the prize. Keep going,
Yeah.
keep going. There's your eye on the prize." And like when I think something I teach in the Empowerment Club that I think is like so brilliant, and this isn't my theory, but this is like one of my teachers taught me this theory. It's the ability to question your thoughts. So it's a woman named Byron Katie, and there's 4 questions. So let's pretend that like just play with me. Like one of you have a self-limiting thought in regards to like your relationship or your work or like something that's happening in your life. The 4 questions are: is this thought true? Do I know with absolute certainty that this thought is true? How does this thought make me feel? And who would I be without this thought? And then I add my own
So
personal.
crazy. My therapist literally didn't
That's it.
quote a theory, but like when we talk about like intrusive thoughts and like things
Yeah.
that I worry about, she
Yeah.
always like breaks it down like that.
She's using the same
Yeah, so
thing.
she's never named it, but she always
Yeah.
makes me like question it. And she's like, it's not real, so like just scratch it right from the beginning. And then she's like, how do you feel about it? Yeah.
And then my spin on it as a coach is like therapy. This is my I've done tons of therapy on myself. My husband and I have done couples therapy, blah, blah, blah. But coaching is about moving in the present moment, in the future, right? And sometimes therapy can be about the present and also the past. And my spin on that whole like spiel of those questions is, and then seek evidence for that new thought in your life right now. Like right now, that new thought that you want, look around you in your life and seek evidence for it.
So with those 4 answers to those questions, like
Yeah.
once you've answered those questions and you have those answers on paper, how do you take those answers and move forward? So say your limiting thought is, what I'm thinking is not true, but it makes me feel upset or it makes me feel sad and I
Yeah.
feel like it is, an intrusive thought that keeps coming. It might not be daily, but weekly or monthly or whatever it is. How do you take those answers that you just did and basically set up like a little game plan for
The
yourself?
roadmap.
Yeah, I would say if you're not able to have the objectivity, and I mean, God knows I wasn't. If you're not able to have the objectivity to work through it with yourself, seek out a practitioner, seek out somebody who's a certified coach, seek out a therapist, like work with somebody on it. And also, what I suspect could be happening, because I've seen it happen with so many of my clients, that voice is self-sabotage, and that voice is actually keeping you safe, and it's keeping you playing smaller, and it's keeping you safe and not taking risks in your life. So that part of you has a purpose, right? That part of you that's projecting that self-limiting thought has a purpose, and it's keeping you safe and it's keeping you small. But there's another part of you that knows something else is possible and you want more. So it's not getting away from that thought. It's
Like owning it?
owning it. And then, I mean, I would do this in a coaching session with somebody, like, what's underneath that? You know, like, how long has that thought been there? What does that part of you really need? So this is where, you know, I think coaching is such a beautiful, exquisite modality, because it does borrow from therapy, but then it also borrows from consulting and helping somebody really move and create movement in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about wholeness. It's about coming into wholeness and expansion and the acceptance that, like, I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but like, my husband and I have been together 15 years, and we literally say to each other, if you're not growing, you're dying. Like, if we are not growing every year, every month, we're dying.
Actually, a friend of mine, I was talking to her recently, and we were actually talking about that, where I feel like over the years, so many friends that I might have had, or, you know, in family or whatever it is, they have had relationships that maybe at the start they were thriving for like a few years, and then you sort of reach like year 4, or I was talking to my grandfather actually, and he said that at year 7, a lot of the divorce rate is really high.
Yeah.
And he said, because at year 7, you have both grown so much as people.
Yeah.
So if you don't grow together, you end up growing apart. And I was talking to my friend recently, and she was saying that, you know, I basically like put my foot down about a situation in my relationship, and I really like made a change about something that was making me unhappy. And
That changes her boyfriend.
about her boyfriend, but she's still with him, and like they're great. But like I said, I was like, a few years ago, you would have never done that.
Wow.
Because you have grown so much as a person and just like changed in such a positive way.
Yes.
That I think I always think about, like, in relationships, like, you're constantly evolving and you're constantly
Yes.
changing as a person.
Yeah.
So if you're not changing with your partner and like finding that middle ground, because you might not be the same people and have the same interests from when you first met, like that surface level connection from year 1 is going to be different from year 5.
Totally.
But it's like continuing to find that connection and like continuing to evolve together.
Yeah, I want to riff on that for a second. People will come to me so many times to be like, I want to get my boyfriend, I want to get my fiance, I want to get my husband to do X. And I always say the same thing. Just model it. Just model it. You can't control anybody.
Like, have them just like mirror it.
Yeah, or
So
just
you
like,
do it.
Yeah.
if you want your spouse, your partner, your boyfriend, whatever, to be kinder to you, you start being kinder to yourself and start being kinder to them. You have to model it. Like, there's an element of laws of attraction here. Like, you have to just model that kindness, right? And also ask for what you want, and then ask for what you want again, and then ask for it again. I think so many times as women, we like don't verbalize what we want, but you have to be really specific. And I know in a lot of male-female relationships, like, men just want to like help you solve problems and do a good job. And like, I'll have to say to my husband sometimes, like, don't solve this problem for me. I just need you to listen.
Mm-hmm.
I just need 15 minutes where I just need to talk, and I just need you to listen. And I remember when I got married, somebody wrote and the card, you know, with like the cash and everything, they gave it to us when we got married. I still remember she wrote, the best wedding advice, the best marriage advice I'm going to give you is just keep growing as 2 individuals. You don't have to, the marriage doesn't exist. It's not like this thing. You just have to keep growing as individuals, and your marriage will just keep growing and changing. Like, it's infinite in terms of the ladder of how you can grow together.
I think where a lot of people, including myself sometimes, like get mistaken is like, you don't just meet someone and like know that like, oh yes, like this is my person. Like, you have to choose every day to like
Yes.
be with this person and accept their flaws. And I think there's this idea that like, oh, my perfect person is out there, but you're not a perfect person.
Totally.
So there's no one perfect for you because you are not perfect.
100%.
And I think that's where like rewiring in like social media is, or rewiring in, relationships is because like the expectation is just not realistic. I think
Yes.
finding somebody that like respects you, respects your boundaries, is supportive, all these things that like maybe check your non-negotiable boxes, and then accepting like the flaws in that person,
100%.
just like they would accept it in you.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm going to share something really vulnerable that I've never even talked about publicly right now. When I left my corporate job to start my business, my husband was pissed.
I was actually going to ask you that. I'm like, what was his
No
thoughts?
way.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, you go from being very comfortable, you get your bi-weekly pay, you know
Yeah.
what the next week is going to look, you have a routine, Monday through Friday is the exact same.
Totally.
And then to like come home and be like, hey, I'm actually going to like uproot my whole career.
Yeah.
I don't know when money's going to come. I don't know how this is going to affect like our kids. Like how
Not
that's
only
like
that, it's I've been working, a 9 to 5 job, and now, and maybe seeing you for X amount of hours a day, and maybe not working as hard as I should have on the relationship. And now I'm starting to maybe work from home or take some more time, and we're seeing each other more.
Totally.
And how would that affect the relationship?
yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like he
Like how did you just like sit him down one day, or was he like anticipating it? Did he know that it was coming?
he was kind of anticipating it, but he didn't like it.
Okay.
He didn't like it.
Yeah.
But he loved me through it. He loved me through it. Like he did not like it. He was not pleased. And
Was it not understanding what you wanted to do? Like the end goal? Do you think it was?
I just think like he had signed up for a plan, and we had a plan together, and we have, we're blessed, privileged to have a beautiful home in Toronto. We have a Toronto mortgage and like all these things. And, we have plans. We want to have a place in Barbados when we retire to like spend the winters there. And like, we have 2 kids, and like, I think we had a plan, and then I kind of just took the blueprint and like lit it on fire and was
hey,
like,
we're actually like rewriting the whole thing.
yeah, we're rewriting the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I remember I was sitting in my living room. My mother-in-law is 80, so my husband's mom. We were sitting in our living room, like having a cup of tea one day early when I was starting my business, and we were talking about like retirement and life and everything. And my 80-year-old mother-in-law, who's like such a cool woman, emigrated to Canada in the 70s. Like she's the coolest woman. I've worked on my relationship with her, as you can tell. She looked at her son and she was like, people change. Rachel's changed.
Oh, like she backed you.
She backed me.
Okay.
She's like, you met her when she was 27. She changes. People change. And that was a moment where I was like, damn, thank you, mother-in-law, for that moment.
Yeah.
And I mean, years later, we just kept talking. Like we just kept talking about it. And there was, it was challenging. And the funny thing is, he didn't like what I was doing, but he believed in me.
Mm-hmm.
He believed in me. He didn't cognitively like it, but there was a part of him that was like backing me up, and he like believed in me. And then when I started to like have impact and have success, and like I just kept going, I mean, sharing that joy with him, with my husband, was like, oh, like I could cry. It was like the greatest
Like he was
joy.
just happy to see you.
He was just so
Yeah.
happy. And it was also like he banked on us, on this new dream that I kind of brought into the relationship. And also, I think people can grow really fast. Like my husband's grown in certain areas. And I'm like,
Career-wise?
yeah, career-wise, or like emotionally. And you're like, oh, I got to catch up. Or like, oh, that's a new way of relating, right? And it's just new. And I think as humans, sometimes when something's new or different, it can be really intimidating. It can be scary. But it's just new. It's just different, right?
Yeah.
What would you say to those people who say that maybe my partner's growing, really fast, and I feel like I'm kind of in like a stagnant place, but maybe they feel like because of that, then this relationship is not right for them. But even though probably deep down it is, and maybe they're in like a period of growth, and the switch would shift.
Yeah, I would say first, like loving kindness towards yourself. I think we literally all need loving kindness, more loving kindness towards ourselves, whether that's like meditation or breath work, going for a walk outside without your phone, loving kindness, and then curiosity. So what's getting activated or what's getting triggered in you when you see your partner working on themselves or doing this or going to the gym or growing or expanding or whatever, being more
Feels like
confident.
therapy.
Yeah, like what's getting activated in you? Well, I've done a fuck ton
Rachel,
of
I need to book
therapy.
some sessions.
Yeah. But like what's getting activated in you? They're just like, to circle back to what we said,
I think
like
the root of it would be
Yeah.
jealousy. I think
Totally.
that's honestly what comes or what would come up if I was in that situation.
in jealousy, literally, I just was doing a session in the Empowerment Club on this a couple of weeks ago. Jealousy is just somebody showing you something that's possible that you want.
Well,
That's
I've
all
heard,
jealousy is.
I constantly see that there's a difference between jealousy and envy. Like people, I've heard that envy people is like, it's like a green-eyed monster. Jealousy is like when you're motivated by other people and you're like,
Totally.
I am jealous of Elise, but it's a motivating thing because she has
Yeah.
things that I want and I'm trying to get there. And envy is like when I look at Elise and I hate her for having something, but there's like a difference, and I've seen people explain it. So
Yeah.
you could be jealous and like a motivating, like, "Oh, I'm so jealous, but like I want to do that," or you
Yeah.
could be like, I'm envious of that person, like I hope they don't succeed.
They're just showing you what's possible.
Yeah.
They're just showing you something that's possible. And I think what's really important, whether you're like, you know, in a relationship, whether you're like creating an outfit or putting an outfit together from something you saw online, whether you're building a business, whether you're an entrepreneur, you don't want to replicate what somebody else did. You have to do what's authentic to you, because for people to collaborate with you, to work with you, to feel you, like they have to see you and they have to feel your energy. So like be inspired by somebody else, but it's not about replicating. It's about making it yours and like just expanding to like, how would you do it? And I think perfection, like Elise, you brought up perfection a little while ago. Like I also think it's about progress. Like if somebody showed you something that's possible, you don't have to perfect it. You don't have to emulate it, but like how can you progress to it in your way?
I wanted to just touch back to what I asked earlier about where you see women struggle the most to lead in their life. Like
Yeah.
what aspect in their life? Because I am curious to see, like obviously you touch on so many different types of women
Yeah.
and different parts in their life. Like I'm assuming you do anywhere from like early 20s to
like 50s.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
like obviously that's a wide range, but where do
Totally.
you see women struggle the most when it
I-
comes to leading and owning their life?
Yeah, I think people pleasing comes up. I think avoiding conflict comes up. I think thinking that the thing that they want to go after or create, or the way they want to be or move through the world is going to disappoint or frustrate other people, and it might be too much, so they don't go for it. That's
Okay.
it.
Interesting.
That's
Do you
it.
find that older, or do you find that more with the older demographic? Because actually, I live in a building with a lot
I knew you
of
were gonna say
older
this.
women.
Okay.
I am like one of the only young people in my building. And I've made friends with all of like the women in their 70s, and we have tea together, and I can
love
text them.
this.
Like they are my friends. And a couple weeks ago, one of them teaches a Pilates session every Saturday at 9 a.m. And there was this maybe 50 or 60-year-old man in the gym, and they booked out the gym, and the woman was like, "Hi, like we have a meditation session. Like if you could, like leave." And he basically gave her attitude and was like, "I'm going to finish my workout." And she was like, "I came from a generation where women don't really speak up for themselves, and I feel like your generation is so outspoken and so confident to like,
Love
snap back at that guy."
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, if I was there, I would have
Oh my
said
God.
something."
I love that. I have to share a story. I was in a boardroom once, and I was the youngest person there by 10 years. It was me sitting around a whole bunch of men, and we were talking about an idea about like some enterprise-wide like HR thing. This is back when I was in corporate. And everybody gave their little spiel, and everybody listened to everybody else. And then whenever I spoke, the gentleman across from me, I don't know why I'm calling him a gentleman, the guy across from me would go on his phone and just start scrolling and rolling his eyes whenever I spoke. After the second time it happened, I called him out. I was like, "Could you do me the respect of listening to me and looking at me when I'm speaking?" And you should have felt people like tense up in the room. People were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe she just said that." And he was like, And I was like, "Yeah, I'm calling you out on it. Maybe you're not even conscious of it, but do me the respect of listening to me when I'm
Because
speaking."
I'm assuming
I was a peer. We
but
were
you did the
leaders.
same for him when he was speaking.
Absolutely. I listened to him. I gave him the respect of looking at him. So I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's amazing. Like, use your voice.
I mean, I felt sad when she said that, because I was like, she was maybe 75 years old or 80 years old. And she's like, "I felt, so pushed aside from this, man."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, no, if I was there, I would never have let that
I
person
wish
talk
you
to me
were
like that."
there.
Because I
Yeah,
come from like a
Elise would
family.
have said something. Elise would have said something.
I come from like a family where obviously like respect people and show them respect and stuff, but like I have always been taught like you don't take shit. And like just
Yes.
because like then people walk on you or people disrespect you, and you don't have to do it in like a rude way, but like I will say something.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important to stand up for yourself and to stand up for other people that like maybe can't stand up for themselves.
Totally. Totally. Oh my God, I totally agree.
Oh, when she told me that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I need to know who this person is, because I will complain."
You're gonna knock on his door.
Like literally, like I live in like a building where everybody knows everybody.
Very,
Like it's like a very like we all know each other. Like we walk by the front desk and like they know exactly who I am. Like it's like one of those. But
We have obviously talked about everything that you've done in the past 7 years doing
Yeah.
leadership. Where do you want your business to
Oh
go?
my God,
Like,
where do I
what's
want
the
business to
goal?
be?
Like, is it just more clients, a team? What's the end goal
Yeah,
with this?
I
Or maybe you
think-
don't even know, or
Yeah.
just ideas that like you've formulated over
Okay,
the
I
past
want to
couple.
I want to riff on something you said a minute ago, Dom, that I
Okay.
think was so brilliant in terms of like women and like inability to lead or like being unable to lead. I think two things come up. I think they're dysregulated. Their nervous system is dysregulated. They're not in their bodies. Like they're just sort of all in their heads, and they don't have a practice or the experience of like fully being in their body. And I think that's where nervous system regulation and like somatic
Like they're
coaching,
just so anxious.
they're anxious, yeah.
And maybe they don't even know it. Like
Or they're
is-
just they're
okay.
using whether it's phone or like whatever just to totally disassociate and be out of their body. And then the other thing that I see so much is they're seeking happiness or joy outside of themselves. And I say this all the time when I'm working and I'm doing a group or a workshop, particularly with women, is like you have everything you already need. Like that thing that you want to buy or that thing you want to go get, just reminding yourself and even feeling like sensing in your body, you already have everything you need. You know, do you need that? Do you want it? And I mean, I buy things. I love nice things.
As
but,
every
like,
girl does.
As every
yeah.
girl does. But it's about your worth is extraordinary. You don't need it to be worthy and to be wonderful. And then what that does, it brings in an element of discernment in terms of what you buy or what you go after or the projects you work on in your life. And you really only work on the stuff that allows
Fulfills
you
you.
to stay, fulfills you and allows you to stay in your zone of genius, in your zone of magic. Like, had I not been coached so many years ago, I wouldn't have realized that what I want to be doing is really coaching, not leading, right? And the whole idea is like to stay in your zone of genius. So to answer that other question, I mean, I set goals for myself, and then this year, I just seem to blow past them. Like 2025 has been an amazing year so far. So like, just keep blowing past the goals that I set for myself.
Well, even from when I met you in April, like the way that you described what you do was like, you were like, oh,
my
I
God.
coach women here and there. Like that was when I met, and I said, I was like, oh, I met this.
Oh, yeah, I came to your Pilates
but I'm
event.
saying,
It
like,
was so
when
good.
we chatted, you were like, yeah, I coach here and there. Like not you downplayed it, but I feel like
Yeah.
to where you are now and the
Yeah.
level of how many people
Aw.
you've impacted, like I
Thanks,
feel like maybe
Dom.
you even didn't realize like the success of where it was going to go. So you've blown
Thank
through all
you.
your goals.
I've
of
blown
what you
through all my
wanted to-
goals for
okay.
2025.
And which were, do you mind sharing? Of
Yeah.
like what you wanted to achieve this year?
Just in
And we're
terms
like not
of
even,
like,
we're still in August.
we're still in
Yeah.
August. So like number of clients served, like income numbers, growth. Also for me, success is also determined by freedom. Like I want to continue to grow in my business. And like last spring, we went to Trinidad and Barbados and I was offline for 10 days. I didn't check social media for 10 days. I was chilling on the beach, doing yoga
Do
with
not
my
disturb.
friends.
that's like my dream.
D&D, and it was amazing. Like we love Barbados. We lived there for a month on one of my maternity leaves. It's like our special place. And like the fact that I could come back and I still had clients wanting to work with me. My clients were still there. The work was still there. The fact that I could unplug and my business would hold me. Like that
Yeah.
was amazing, as opposed to me having to always hold it like it was so precious, like an egg or something. That's
So I have a
extraordinary.
question, and I want
Give
you
me
to
it.
like step into the mindset of like a 24-year-old girl who is
Okay.
just at the start of her career. Step into me, my mindset. So I feel like I work very hard because I want to basically come to a place where I'm not like coasting, but like where I have sort of set myself up for a level of success where I can take time off or where I can be at a place where I've sort of built myself to a level that I can tone it back.
Yeah.
But that means right now I work double time and I work 7 days a week. It might not be all day, but like I know I will do work tomorrow. I know I will work on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes. I
Yeah.
worked the entire time I was in Newfoundland. Like it's just hard to take time off because I've taken on a workload level where if I take a day off, then I'm like drowning in work. And it's not work that I don't like either, but it can consume me sometimes. And
Yeah.
I think that it teeters a line of burnout
Yeah.
because like you said, when you were burnt out, you were overly motivated and doing a lot.
Totally.
So how would you approach a situation like that as like a young woman in her 20s and sort of like find the balance of, you know, this is what I have to do right now because I'm trying to get to a place in my career, or, you know, being that person that maybe works like a 9 to 5 corporate job for the reason that I get my weekends off or I get my nights off.
I think a couple things. I think it takes hustle. It takes grit. Like the first couple years of my business, I was waking up at 4:35 a.m. to do my workout, my meditation, to bang out an hour of work before I took my kids to school, and then see clients. And then my kids weren't in aftercare. My nanny was gone. I was picking my kids up at 3 o'clock every day. Like I hustled. Like I worked my butt off. And then as the years grew, you know, it was like growth mode versus maintenance mode, like growth mode versus maintenance mode, right? Like my summer was supposed to be maintenance mode, but I had so many opportunities come to like blossom. It was kind of growth mode. So I'm looking at my September as like maintenance mode. So I think it's knowing like when you're in growth mode and when you're in maintenance mode. Tell me the last thing you said, and I'm gonna riff on it. It just popped out of my head.
I think a lot of people recently have asked me.
Oh, I got it. I totally got it. Okay, that was it. Okay, so I would ask you, 24-year-old Eloise, let's call her. I would say, where do you want to be in 2 years? Where do you want to be in 2 years? What do you want to be doing? And then I would look at your to-do list and your client load with a sense of discernment and that direction of where you want to go and what's getting you there and what's not. What's getting you there and what's not.
I mean, I think back in May, removing clients was like a really great decision. And like at the time, it's obviously really scary because like I'm cutting my income in half.
Yeah.
But I think that was like really stalling my growth.
Yes.
Because what I've realized is I sort of came to a point where I was so busy building other people's businesses that why am I not just building my own?
Damn.
And I think like that's where I am now is like, yes, I've taken on a new client of editing that, you know, I didn't have time for, but it's Bill Gates' daughter. So I'm going to, you know, like it's like,
That's amazing.
It's things like that where I would have never had that opportunity if I didn't remove that client in May.
100%. And my growth also, like I automate and delegate so much. Like I have like I hired my assistant, my executive assistant, before I even could afford her because I knew the growth was coming and I knew I needed the space in my calendar.
Yeah.
Right? Like bring in help, like bring in support so that you can scale and you can grow and you can stay in your zone of genius.
Yeah.
My best ideas never come when I'm sitting at my laptop. My best ideas come when I was like rocking out to music, when I saw you, when I was like driving here tonight, or like when I'm walking home from a Pilates class, or when I'm like in the shower, like, or putting my kids to bed and cuddling them at night. That's when my best ideas come. It's not when I'm sitting in front of my computer.
I guess I always think that I've been asked a couple of times recently of like, oh, like how did you get that client? Or how did you, you know, learn how to edit like this, or like random things. And I guess my response is always like, it's just hard work. Like you just have to put in the hours, and like that might be, you know, 12-hour days, like on a Saturday. It just, sometimes that's just what it is. 100%. And I think we come from like a generation that doesn't want to work and doesn't want to put in those hours.
Yeah.
And they're not putting in the hours, and yet they're like saying that they're burnt out. And their, you know, mental health obviously is so important. And like, I have struggled with mental health and all these things, but I think sometimes it's a cop out.
Yeah.
And I think finding the balance of like, what is, you know, a proper work ethic and sustainable for you is what will get you ahead. Because I think at the end of the day, like you have to work to get to where you want to be.
Absolutely.
And then maybe you can take that like coasting period, like you said, like maintenance mode.
Totally. I think it takes grit, and I think it takes grit and resilience and that unwavering belief in yourself. Like, this is what I'm here to do. And also the mindset of being of service. Like, I get to use my gifts to help, like you said, your client, Bill Gates' daughter, like express like the impact that she wants to have. And you get to use your zone of genius to help your clients. It's about that energy of like being of service. And it's not like, oh, I'm of service to you. It's like, I'm being of service to you, and there's an energy exchange, and there is a money exchange too, right?
I think I also shifted my mindset when she approached me in the past, it would have been from a place of, oh, like, I need the money, or like, I need,
Yeah.
you know, XYZ, like, I need to take this client. Whereas now I came from a point of, well, let me see if I actually have time to help you,
Choice.
or let me see if I actually, you know, am capable of doing what you need. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how big you are or how big the brand is.
Yeah.
It's coming from a place of like, do I want to do this?
Totally. Totally. You get to work with people that you like. And like, that's the biggest gift. I was just chatting with a client down in the States last week, and her mission is to heal birth on planet Earth. She's a midwife in the US. We know what the US healthcare system is like. And she's opening up an incredible, incredible birth center in Arizona. And that's her mission, to heal birth on planet Earth. And I'm like, oh my God, I get to work with you. Like, it's like, I'm so energetically aligned with what she's doing, empowering women. Like, you also have to sometimes,
Through
I
the
think,
most like intimate moment.
through the most vulnerable and intimate moment, right? Creation and like birthing humans. And like, I had to say no to projects to have space to be able to work with her in like 2025, 2026. Like, you have to make space for what you want sometimes. Definitely.
Well, we're coming up on time. I feel like we could ramble for
I know.
literally an hour. I guess my biggest takeaway that I want you to leave everyone that listens to In Her Prime is obviously consulting, therapy, life coaching, onboarding, that can be super intimidating. What do you say to people that are like on the fence about it, on like why it was so impactful to you and why people should or consider taking on something like this in their life?
I think it's the best investment you'll ever make in yourself, and your most precious resource is you, and your time and your energy and your mindset. And that's what working with a practitioner, whether it's an executive coach, whether it's a therapist, like whomever, like, it's making that investment in you and saying that I am worth it, and my thoughts and my energy and how I relate to myself and I relate to others is the most important thing. And that dream, that goal, that thing that I want to achieve or receive or get in my life, it's valuable, and it has worth, and I'm going to breathe life into it. I'm going to work with somebody to go get it. And if you're looking for a coach, I mean, I think work with somebody that you like, work with somebody who you feel their energy, you think they can feel you, they have the capacity to help you. Ask for referrals, look at their recommendations, like look at their LinkedIn, look at their Instagram, look at their recommendations on their website, ask them what their credentials are, like do a little bit of investigating. And like most of my clients, they met with 3 or 4 coaches before they like wanted to work with me.
A lot of your clients, is it referral or just like inbound, like they found you?
A lot of referrals.
Okay.
I get a lot of referral work now, which is like such a gift. Like that's like the best.
That's the goal.
The goal, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
Absolutely.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you from literally the both of us, from the bottom of our hearts. It means so much to spend an hour with you on a busy Friday night. Where can everyone find you online?
Find me on Instagram, Rachel Barbaro. I'm also really active on LinkedIn, my website, rachelbarbaro.com. So yeah, happy to chat with anybody and like book a 30-minute like free coaching call, chat with anybody. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
I
This
love
has been
that.
great. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so energized.
Okay. This has been great.